bullet trimmer. So we're going to start off with this card here. Like I said, it's like a pocket card. And we're going to be doing a little different stamping on this card. And in the set, it is not a red, it is a bronze that we have. So what we're going to do, let us start with our crumb cake piece of card. And what we're going to do is we're going to score it first. Okay? And we are going to put a score line at 2.5 inches. So just make sure you're not using your cutter. So you're going to score at 2.5 inches. Okay. Now, just be careful. It's a little longer one way than the other. So you're going to have the long way is where you're going to score so that when we fold it up, okay? So find the longest way in, and so that will go landscape, and then you score at 2.5. Okay? So when we fold it, here we go. We're going to leave a little pocket. So that's all the scoring that we're going to be doing with this card. What we want to do is we want to make a little bit of glue on the edge here on each side. Now you're going to have to be careful if you use like the tape runner, try and keep it to the edge. If you use the liquid glue, carefully put it to the edge. Okay, and you're going to do that for both sides. Don't put too much because we don't want it squeezing too much out. Okay, and what I'm going to do is when I close this, so I got the glue on each side. When I close this, I'm going to find something heavy. I just want to stick something heavy on top just to hold it down. So I am going to just put a couple of things. Because I've used the liquid glue, I'm going to just let that dry there for a minute. And I'm going to put it off to the side with the heavy pieces on top. It's just because the liquid glue, I want to make sure that it sticks well. Okay. Now that I've put that off to the side, I'm going to stamp. You're going to get the Very Vanilla. It is the larger piece of Very Vanilla in here. So there should be 1, 2, and a circle. So we want the biggest piece. And that's the piece that's going to slide into the pocket right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to, because I want some design up at the top, I'm going to use the trees from the set. Okay. And I am going to get some ink. Doesn't matter what color you use. I'm going to use Early Espresso. And I'm going to ink it up. Ink up my tree. Now because this portion is going to be exposed in the pocket, I'm going to put the tree on the top left corner. So pardon me. Okay. And I want the little tree. Maybe I'll do a little tree on the other side. Okay. So what's going to happen is when I have that in the pocket, I'm just going to use this one as an example. Oops. It's going to peek out. Okay, so you can see the little peaks of the trees behind that. Okay, and if you want, you could stamp a little sentiment down here, but I like to leave it blank on that. Looks like my tree is kind of falling over, but that's okay. I should put a little gnome under there chopping down the tree. Okay. So that's all the stamping I'm going to do for that card insert. So I'm going to put that off to the side. That turned out really nice. I like how the tree, the tree branches really show up really nice on that with the early espresso. Okay. Now, if I'm going too fast for you, please let me know, because I don't know how fast I'm going. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stamp out this moose. So there is a little like 3x3 square, and I'm going to stamp the moose on that. And I'm going to stamp them in the same color as I used for the trees, the early espresso. And stamp them kind of in the middle. There we go. He's so cute. And I'm going to use the punch. Now, when you're using the punch with the moose, the best way to line him up is to watch for his legs. Now, it looks like the 3x3 is a little short. So I'm going to use either you can use a Post-it note or a piece of tape to make like a little handle. So I'm going to put a piece of tape and make a little handle so I can hold it. I'm going to slide him in. And I'm going to line up his legs. So that's where you want to see his legs and his antlers. And just keep moving it around. And it looks like he's in there. And when I'm ready, I'm just going to pop him out. Okay, there's one. Now, I guess there should be a little piece of brown. And I'm just going to pop out a shadow of him. Whew, flying moose. Okay, so now I got the moose and his shadow. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to that first piece we worked on, and I'm going to double check to make sure. Okay, it looks like the glue has set. I'm going to take my piece of paper and see that it slides in neatly. So if I put the glue far enough to the edge, it should slide in. Okay. Now this looks like it goes right to the top. If you don't want it right to the top and you want to cut it down a little bit, you could just cut a smidgen off the bottom. So, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut a smidge off the bottom. I always like to see the mat all the way around. So there. So it slips in really nice. Another option for gluing is using the tear and tape, might work well too. So I like it with a little edge all the way around. So I'm going to have them like that. So I know it fits in. And I've got my moose and I've got his shadow. 1 second, just going to take a little drink. Okay. Everybody's good? Now, before I glue anything down, I'm a firm believer that you lay it all down so that it all fits, because this way you'll find out if there's any errors on the the measurements. So the pieces that are left in the pack are this beautiful little like gold and bronze kind of designer series paper with the leaves and the acorns on it. I'm going to lay that down. And there is a piece of embossed brown. So I'm going to tuck that in underneath. So that goes down, and then the DSP goes on top. So that just peeks out a little. If you want more of the brown to show, just cut a little bit off. You should also have a bronze or a type of gold starburst and a very vanilla circle. Now, if you like to have it one on top of the other, that's okay, or off center a little bit. It's up to you. I'm going to put it off center a little bit. And that's going to be on the left-hand side a little bit. And if I were to dry assemble it, I'm going to have the moose with a slight shadow, and he would go thereabouts here. So I can see that it dry assembles really neatly. I don't feel like maybe I do want to cut a little bit more off. I think I'm going to cut a little bit more off this. I want to show a little bit more of that embossed paper. So I'm just going to cut some more off. It's up to you if you like or not. Everybody has different tastes, and there is no wrong answer. Okay, so if I dry assemble it and I just kind of lay all the pieces down, I can see they all fit. They're all cut to how I like it. Okay. Now there's one piece of very vanilla left. I did not know what type of sentiment you want to place on here. Okay. So whatever you want, you could say happy birthday, you could say have a beautiful day. Yeah, you could have something for fall related or Christmas related. Anything that you want on there. So I have left it for you. I'm going to take a peek through some of the other old ones that I have. Like a long time ago, I went through and I just stamped a whole bunch of sentiments on paper. And I'm just going to take a peek through if any of those would match. So if I wanted to, I could stick wishing you happiness on this special day. Thinking of you with all my heart. Like any of the sentiments that you have would work with this. My only suggestion is make sure it's on the very vanilla. So my sentiments are on white, so I'm just laying it out to see what I like. Place it on the very vanilla so that it will match everything else. The white will just kind of be offset a little bit, like the color just won't match. But I'm just using these as samples of ideas of what I can put on here. Okay. So I'm going to leave it up to you for the sentiment you want. In the meantime, I'm just going to turn around and I'm just going to grab something. I can't seem to find anything that is right in my alley here. You know what? Sorry about that. I just wanted to grab the peaceful moments. I like the stamp set, the sayings that are in here, so I'm going to use something from there. Okay. And I'm going to use the same color as I have for everything else in here. I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the Very Vanilla. A little crooked, so I'll try again. There. So I just chose the sentiment I wanted. And if you have any punches, like punch shapes, just you can use those to punch that out, or just straight across. It's up to you. Okay. Now I'm just going to have just a plain banner on this. If I were to put it together, I'm just going to put a little tail on that. I like some of the punches. There's a punch, it's called the Storybook Punch. And I think it turns out really nice, and it has a really nice shape to it. The shape that it is, it's like this. Little couple of bumps on this side. It's a really nice punch to use. And a lot of the sentiments fit on it, and it looks really, really nice. Actually, I think I'm going to use it on that. I'm going to stamp that sentiment actually on this piece. Okay. I found some of the extra papers I have, I just cut them out. And I guess I stuck them in the sentiment bag that I have. And there's a couple of Very Vanillas, and I'm just going to use that shape. So some of the extra papers, that's what I just do sometimes. So when I go to, and I need something, they're already pre-cut. Okay. So what it's going to look like is, like I said, I haven't glued this all down, so I can still shift it around a little bit. Now, if you have in your stash some twine or anything, you could always add that in if you want. It's up to you. Now, I have it all laid down. I know it's all going to fit nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start gluing the pieces down. So I'm going to start with the embossed piece. And I'm going to put the adhesive on. Now, you might like one side of the embossing piece better than the other, so it's up to you. So I'm just going to put it on the edge a little bit and try and have it even on both sides. Okay, so I put the embossed piece down first. And then I'm going to glue down the DSP on top of that. Make sure it's lined up. Now, I want it to go all the way down to the bottom. So just like that. Now, if I were going to add some twine, I would have done that and just kind of tucked it in, but I don't think I want to. With the mousse, so I've got those two pieces down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the back of my mousse and put it on his shadow. Ooh, he's running away. So I'm going to just offset him a little bit so I can have a little bit of mousse shadow. So he's like that. Okay. If you want your starburst straight on top, just glue it straight on top. I'm going to have it offset a little bit. I'm going to glue that to this piece. Now I'm going to use dimensionals under the mousse. So I'm going to glue this starburst and circle straight down. Onto the left side a little bit. I'm going to get my dimensionals for the back of the mousse. Put a couple on there. Now before I lay him down, I need to make sure that my sentiment is going to tuck in and fit. Okay, and then I'm going to glue that. Guess it doesn't matter which order you do it in, just make sure that it tucks in. And I adhere my mousse. Go. And that's the card finished. So it's a little pocket card. So hopefully that was easy enough to follow. And when you're done, hold it up so I know everybody's finished. Oh, Dawn, that turned out great. Oh, you didn't have the stamps. I should have. Dang, I should have stamped some. I'm not allowed to stamp for you, unfortunately. Oh, Maria, that turned out good. Okay, great, great. So this is really cute. You can, with anything, you can always replace all of the DSP for anything else, like Christmas or whatever, and have something else on here. So I really like him with the tree. I thought the tree looks really nice. So this was my original card. Like I said, I changed it a little. I didn't like the red so much, and I thought the bronze and the tree would look much better. There we go. Oh. So hopefully that was, everybody has been able to do their little mousse card. Nice. Great, Debbie. You figured out. Oh, Darlene, that looks great. Good. And Liz, oh, fantastic. Looks like everybody's got the early espresso color, it seems like. Okay, so we've finished with this card. Are we good to move on to the next one? I think Caroline's just putting her mousse down, I think. So, like I said, if you want, you can always add a sentiment on the inside here. And this will fit into any standard envelope that you have. Very nice. Oh, Caroline, that's great. Okay. So that's the first card. Now what we're going to do is we are going to move on. Let's put him in here. Whoops. His legs are caught. So he fits right in there. Now we're going to move on to the next card, which is this kind of flippy fold card, whatever, I don't know what it is. So there is a large piece of early espresso. I'm going to move this up because you are going to need to see the whole thing when I'm cutting. Okay, so in the package, you have the early espresso cardstock. There's a piece of ribbon. There is a piece of DSP brown like this, which we are going to have to cut. Again, there is, oh dear. let's see, I got to make sure I have all the pieces here. There is a piece of 3x3 brown and the DSP, which fits right on top of the brown. There's like the storybook punch for your sentiment. And this 3x3 is for your moose that we're going to stamp and cut out. Okay. We need, oh, and this goes inside, so I'll show you afterwards on that. What we need is the brown piece. We're going to need our cutter. We're going to do 2 score lines. Let me get my cheat sheet. And we are going to score. Okay, so we're going to have a portrait. So the long way, we're going to score at 4.5. So we're going to put the paper the long way in the trimmer. We're going to score at 4. Sorry, not 4.5, but 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Okay. So it's portrait, 4 1/4. Once you scored that, we are going to turn it 90 degrees. So it's landscape. And we're going to score at 5.5. Okay. So you will have 2 score lines, one straight down the middle on the portrait and one straight down the middle on the landscape. Okay. Okay, everybody good? They've all scored it? Okay. Now this is the tricky part. Darlene, you're good? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, this is the tricky part. What we need to do is we need to cut this piece of paper from the top. Oh, Dawn, do you want to say something? Oh, hold on.
What was the 5 measurement?
Oh, sorry, 5 1/2. 5 1/2. Okay, so the tricky part is we're going to need to cut from one corner down across to the bottom corner. So we're going to cut from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in our trimmer. Now you will notice that it's a little longer than the scoring part where the measurements are. So you're going to put, try and get this in here, each corner on the track. So I got right here. So there's a corner on this track, and then I'm going to put a corner on that track. So it's 1/2. So we're going to cut it right in half. You got to kind of wiggle it. And then when it's all the way in the track, you're going to carefully cut it. Now, it may not cut completely up. You might have to lift it. And then, so mine didn't cut at the very edges. So I'm going to bend it a little. And I am going to use my snips and cut along that line as best as I can. Okay, so what you're going to end up with is 2 pieces of brown that will do the exact same card. We only need 1/2 of this. What a shape is this? A triangle. So once you have that cut in half, you're just going to fold one piece over. You're going to fold the right side over onto the left. And I'm going to fold the top and bring it down. Okay? So it should pretty well just cover it. And now you're going to have two pieces like that. So you only need one, but you might as well just fold them both. Okay? Hold on, Maria. Hold on. Go ahead.
Hi, can you show me again? Okay,
So
oh,
I've cut it in half. I've taken
right,
the left triangle part and I've folded it over.
okay,
Okay? And I'm taking the top part and I'm folding it down.
thank you.
So there. Okay? All right. So it's folded like that. So you should have two that ends up just two. So you might as well, this one can be for later that you can make a card with. Okay? Now you will find in your package, there is a piece of Whisper Very Vanilla. And this is going to go on the inside of the card. So just in here. So just in like that. So I'm just going to glue this inside. And it should fit so that there's a slight frame around. Okay. Okay, so now it's going to, if I close it up like this, I want this piece of DSP, the brown, I'm going to be cutting this in half. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so we've got the piece in the center, that's all done. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this piece in half. Now you have to be careful on which way you cut it. Okay, so I'm going to take my trimmer. I want to cut the same as this cut line here. So I'm going to cut from, I'm going to take the top right corner. I'm going to put it in the track. So this corner is just in the track. So, and then I'm going to take the bottom left corner, slide it over to the track so that each point is in the track. So remember, the top right has to be up here. The bottom left needs to be down here. Okay? And I hope this works. Now I cut it. So I'm going to have two triangles, right? So if I lay this on that paper I just folded, it should fit right in. Okay? Did that work for everybody? Oh, good. Whew, I was nervous. Okay. So now that those two triangles, I see that they fit neatly in there, I'm going to glue them down. Okay? Horrible kite flashbacks, triangles and left and right. Oh my gosh. So I put that in like that. And it looks like I can have a little frame around. I'm a big fan of framing there. I'm going to do the same for the other piece. Glue it down. Okay. There. So now that I have that down, one piece might be a little better on top than the other. So if I'm going to open and close this, it now fits nicely. So everybody up to this step here? Okay. Right. Perfect, Caroline. That's great. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this aside for a moment.
I cut
gonna
mine
do-
wrong,
Who said that?
Caroline.
You can have punk. Wait, you still have the other brown, right?
Yes, yes.
So take that one
Okay.
and turn it so that it will fit. Maybe it will fit. Like you might have to flip it the other way. Let's see if that would work. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, woohoo! Fix that problem. Good thing we have two. Okay, so
Good.
I'm going to set this aside. I am going to get the Early Espresso 3x3 piece. I'm going to get the little DSP with the acorns. Or if you really want, you could always turn it over on the other side. I found this side just a little bit too busy for me. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue the DSP onto the brown. So we're going to put that on the Early Espresso. Okay. I'm going to, once this is done, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to stamp my mousse on that Very Vanilla. Okay. Now, if you want your mousse to have a shadow, you might need to try and figure out if you have any more brown. I think I forgot to add a piece of brown in. So I have him stamped on here. I'm going to punch him out. I think I'm going to need that little thingy again, that tape. Line up his legs. I don't want to have a three-legged moose. And punch him out. Now I had a little bit of Early Espresso left over from that first piece, and I just chopped a little bit off. Though he's missing part of his nose, that's okay because I'm just going to offset him, just like we did before. So even though he's missing half his nose, that's all right. The main part is I want to get a little bit of shadow. If you don't have that, that's okay. Okay. I just find that, you know, he'll be fine on right on here. That he'll turn out okay, but I think with this a little bit of a shadow behind him just adds a little bit more dimension. That makes him pop out a little more. So if you have a little bit left of that Early Espresso, hopefully you can use it. I guess when I was prepping this, maybe I forgot to add it. I add him to his shadow. So Regina, if you want, I still have another package pre-cut for this if you want, or you can just follow along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him on this DSP, and I'm going to use the dimensionals to pop him up. Where did they go? And he's just going to be in the middle here. Now, before I do that, if you want, you can always put the ribbon around, if you want the ribbon around, and then put them on top. I'm going to actually make a bow. And put it in the corner. So I'm going to put him right in the middle with the dimensionals. Okay. I still, like I said, I still have one pack left of this class. So just like that. So if I don't use this up, nobody wants it, then I will make more moose cards. So what I'm going to do, hopefully this is long enough to make a bow. I like this ribbon. This is that faux suede ribbon. Okay, so I just made my little bow there. So what I have now is I have my card with my diagonal, what are they? Flaps. I have my moose on the DSP, and I want to adhere this moose that's on the square onto this card. Now, when you do this, because he only needs to be on one side, you're only going to add glue to one corner. Okay? So that, because if you put glue completely on the back, you'll glue the whole thing shut. So you only need to do one side. Okay? So I'm going to add glue to this portion here. Okay? So if I turn it around, you'll see there's only glue on one side. Yes. So I'm just going to add it to one corner. So I've added the glue only to one corner, the top corner. So if I turn it over, it's on the back of here. Okay. So I'm going to lay him on top. So you only glue one side. Just I keep saying that. It's just so that you're aware of it. Okay. Otherwise, it gets all sticky on the one side. Okay. Okay, Regan. Okay. All right, so give me a thumbs up when you're got to that part. Okay, good. Yay. Everybody's got their glue on the right spot. There is a little piece of Whisper, very vanilla. That little punch, that is to put your sentiment on. And the sentiment will go underneath on the other flap if you want it. And like I said, there's the little bow. You can either put the bow wherever you like. I had put it off to the side here, and I'm going to put my sentiment on the bottom. So it's slightly under the square. I'm going to find a sentiment. Liz, did you come back? All right. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to put my sentiment on. And this tag punch seems to fit most of the, like I said, most of the sentiments. It's really good. So I'm going to tuck this underneath, just underneath. So it just peeks out to where I see it. And I'm going to glue that down. Okay. And like I said, I don't know where you want to put your bow. If you want to put a bow on at all, it's up to you. I think maybe I'm going to go without the bow today. I think I just like it just the way it is. I'm going to put the bow somewhere else. There we go. Liz, you came back. Alrighty. So, did you get to the part about where to glue it? Oh, Liz. Okay, so we worked on the sentiment. I put the sentiment. Oh, perfect. Okay, so there's a little piece. Did you get the sentiment on? So there's a little punch in the sentiment that you can use if you want. It's up to you if you want to use it. So this is the card finished. There. And if you wanted to put, I'm going to put a couple of trees in because I'm just, I actually like that tree very much with the set. And I put a couple of trees in there. I liked it on the, I really like this tree with the early espresso. So I'm just going to do that. Oh no! Oops. I'll put something there. And actually, I spy in this little case a little raccoon on a log. I think I'm going to put him on the inside. So I'm just decorating the piece, the inside. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. That looks so nice with the brown. There. So when you look inside, that is so cute. So there. Okay. As always, you can always decorate your envelope too if you want. Need a moose on the outside, why not? As I say, give that mailman a thrill. There. Okay. And it's all done. Alrighty. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna put I got a little boo-boo here because I had, I guess with the polymer, I didn't have anything underneath. I'm gonna stick something there. I'll put some ornaments on this little tree. Just hide that little mistake. Okay. All right. So let me know when you're done your card. Oh, that looks good. I like that. Nice. Oh, they're turning out fantastic. Okay. Oh, I like that, Caroline. Debbie's is all ready to run a class now with this moose set. All right. So the next one we're going to make is the third one. Just going to put this off to the side. Is we're going to make the kind of pop-up one. Now there are tiny little pieces. When I was putting these kits together, Daniel's girlfriend was helping me, and she commented, "These all have tiny little pieces." So I realized there's a lot of little pieces. So when you pull this out, make sure that all the pieces are there, because this one has a lot of working parts. So there is the orange base card. There is one orange that is embossed. There is a second orange, which will go on the inside. There is, oops, it's stuck. There is be careful when you pull them out of the envelope, okay? There is a white piece with a hole in it, okay? There is a piece of DSP. There is mint macaron that will go with the DSP. There is a little Very Vanilla, which we're going to stamp our mousse on. There is a white 3x3, which we're going to stamp our mousse on. There is a brown 3x3 that we're going to punch out a mousse. There is a small Very Vanilla little tag that we're going to use for our sentiment. There is, just make sure that you can find it. I'm holding it up. You can't see it. It's a clear piece. Make sure that you have this clear piece, okay? Don't lose it. Don't lose it, because we need that. And then there's like some ribbon, the twine, and the little gold leaves. Okay? Okay, I'm going to put those aside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my base card. Okay. Oh, hopefully, oh, I think I have to, I may have scored it wrong. So I have my base card. I'm going to fold that up. I have the embossed piece with the little petals on it. I'm going to glue that on top of the outside. Okay, I'm going to glue that, and I'm going to have that on top. So this card will be landscape. So this way. Now, before I glue anything else down, I'm going to double check. There is a piece of mint macaron that will fit across that embossed card. Now the DSP, it looks like I'm not sure, I may have forgotten to cut it down to the edge. So what I'm going to do, it should fit. So I'm going to glue this DSP onto the mint macaron, and there's going to be a little bit of space on the top and the bottom. On the left and right, it goes flush with the edge. Now, if it's a little bit too long, like this one is a little bit too long, I'm just going to get my scissors and I'm just going to cut it off. So it should be flush with the edge on the left and the right, but have some frame on the top and the bottom. Okay? Before I glue this piece down, I'm going to get my little piece of twine. Carefully make sure you pull it apart. Now, it should be long enough that you should be able to do, I think it's 3 crosses. So I'm going to go from one side. I'm just going to get some tape. Where'd I put the tape? I tape one part down. I don't want this to move, so I'm going to tape that down. Now, it should be long enough that you should be able to go back and forth. Two or 3 times. So I'm just going back and forth. With the ribbon. Okay. And I'm just going to tape it down on the back. It's a little long, so I'm going to cut that. So it should be good enough to go back and forth 3 times. At least. Oh, it was only twice? Okay. Then maybe it could be just twice. I may have it may have just mismeasured. But it's just so that you have it going back and forth. So once you have your ribbon going back and forth and it's taped down, I'm going to glue it onto the embossed piece of paper. I'm going to leave a little bit on the bottom, so it just a little edge, so you can see most of the embossed piece on the top. Okay. Hold on. Okay,
Are we
Maria,
working this way?
we are working. So when it opens, it's going to open like this. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to put this DSP with the twine. I'm going to glue it down now. Okay. And it's going to go from one edge of the embossed paper to the other. And I'm going to have a little bit on the bottom and the rest so that you can see the embossed portion on the top. A little bit down here. Okay. When I have that glued down, I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to do some stamping. So I might as well do all my stamping at once. I need my white paper. I need my Very Vanilla paper because I'm going to stamp a mousse on the white and the Very Vanilla. Okay. And I've lost my mousse. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp it on the white. Stamp it on the vanilla. Because I have my ink pad open, I'm going to get the Very Vanilla, what is that, rectangle, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment on it, and I'm going to use Merry Christmas. And I'm just going to put that in the center. Now, if you have the punch that makes the little what is it? Those flag edges, the one here, that's the easiest one to use. In the meantime, it's too far away. I'm going to have to snip it. And I'll do it freehand. So I'm going to cut up in the center and make the flags freehand. I'm going to do that for both sides. And I'm going to punch out the two mooses that I have here. Punch out the one in the white. Need that tape thing again. The problem with just cutting the squares, you always got to make some kind of extension on it. Line up his little legs, tiny little spindly legs. And because I got the punch in my hand, I'm going to punch. You need to punch a moose out of the little round square. So I have my 3 mooses, 2 stamped and one as the shadow. Okay. I'm going to put them up here. I'm going to take my card again. And in your pack, you have a whole bunch of little, these kind of gold kind of leaves. It's up to you. I'm going to just kind of lay them down. Now, even though they're kind of all kind of bunched up right here, that is where I'm going to put my sentiment, so it'll be hiding that. And my little moose will, that is very vanilla, because I want to make sure that the colors are the same, will sit on top. So there's it dry assembled. So if I'm happy with the way the layout is, I'm going to glue this down now. I see Debbie talking, but I don't hear her. What do you say, Debbie?
Okay, so the very, very vanilla bear, whatever it is, moose, that's the one that goes on the front, but not the other 2. You don't glue them down.
That's right.
Okay.
Those other 2 will be going on the inside,
Okay.
and we will be using that with that clear piece of whatever it's called, window sheet. It's actually from a window sheet. So I'm happy with where that's going to be. So I'm going to add some glue here, right above the ribbon, where it's going to stick with the leaves. So I'm just going to put that on there. That down a little. I want to make sure that it sticks down. Even though it looks like a mess on the bottom, it's a little too long. It will be, like I said, it will be covered. So I'm going to angle the leaves thereabouts so it fits in the card. And I'm going to put the sentiment on with dimensionals. I'm going to put one right in the middle. Oh, definitely will go on. I'm going to hide all of that pile of crisscross leaves underneath that sentiment. And I'm going to add dimensionals to the very vanilla moose for the outside. Just pop them on. There you go. So that is the outside of the card. Like that. So like I said, I've hidden everything underneath that sentiment. So give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move to the inside of the card. Like I said, there are a lot of little pieces to this card. That's why I left it to the very end. Okay, I'll just hold it up for you. Oh. These little gold leaves are really nice. They come in a sheet of 12 by 12, and they really add a bit of sparkle to the card. It looks really nice. So you get 2 sheets of 12 by 12, and you just pop them out, and there's a lot. So I was able to get, oh, you each got like 3 or 4 of these leaves, and then I still had a whole sheet left over. So there's a lot in there. Oh, that's nice, Dawn. Very good. Very nice. Okay. Ah, perfect. All right. It looks like everybody's almost done. Darlene, are you good? I don't want to go too fast, so. And we're going to move into the inside of the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the card up. Okay. Now, there is a white piece. Okay. So what I had done is I had punched out the little hole part for you. We do need to make 2 score lines on this piece of paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put that guy aside. We need to make 2 score lines. So let me just double check. Okay. Okay. So when I open the card, I have the circle on the right-hand side. Okay. Have the circle on the right-hand side in your trimmer. And I'm going to put it in at 5 1/4. Okay. So the circle is onto the right side of, oops, can't see that, is to the right side of where I'm going to score. And it's going to be at 5 1/4. So I'm going to score it there at 5 1/4. Okay. So when I have it, it's halfway done. Now to get the exact side on the other one, I'm just going to use a little pencil. And I'm just going to mark on the other side. I'm just getting a little pencil. Because I want it to be exact. So I'm going to fold this up. So there it is, it's the fold. I'm going to get a little pencil mark on the back. Okay. Now if I put it in the trimmer, say you didn't mark it, so I'm going to put it in the trimmer. So now the hole is on the left side of where I'm going to score. So if I put this down, you will notice there's 1, 2, and 3. See the numbers? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So I'm going to put it in, and I want the edge to be on the number 3. And I'm going to score there. Or if you marked it, score where that mark is. So does that make sense? No. Okay. So were you able to, oh, hold on. Darlene, what's up? Sorry. Okay, do you want me to go back to the first mark?
No.
Oh, you have a different one. Okay. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so the first one, the first score line we did, okay, the circle was on the left or the right side. So 5 1/4. Can you do the 5 1/4? Everybody do the 5 1/4? Good. I'm going to take it out. Now, if I'm going to flip it around, okay, I'm going to take it out. So now I'm going to flip it around so that the circle is on the left side. Okay. And I'm going to score it at 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Okay. So if I have the circle on the right side, I'm going to score it at 1 1/4. So if I have it here, the circle again is on the right side. Okay. All right. I'm going to need to take this piece of white paper. I don't need this anymore. I have the circle. Where the circle is, I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. And on each side, I'm going to fold it up and up. So it looks like a W. Okay. So that the circle is it's going to be kind of like glued together here. So the circle will be glued together, and we need the flaps on each side. Okay. If I bring the card back, the fold line of the base card is where this circle is going to sit. Okay. So it's going to stand up like this. So this piece right here goes right on the fold line. I'm not going to glue it down yet. I'm just going to place it on top. Okay. So I can see on the right-hand side, there's this white piece. Okay. I'm going to make sure it has a nice square around it. It's on the fold line. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive right around the circle. Just a little bit on each corner. I don't need a lot because I just kind of want it to hold together. So there's the circle, and I'm going to fold it in. Okay, so now it's kind of taped together. Okay, like that. So now it's not going to come apart, but I can still shove something down in between. Okay. So so now I got the paper, and now I can put it on the fold line, right? Where that circle goes, it goes on the fold line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up one side, and I'm going to put the adhesive on the back of this white. I'm going to make sure that I lay this edge right on the fold line. And I'm going to bring the card down, let it flop down. Might have to do this a couple of times. And lay it down. Okay? So it's very important that you get it straight on the fold line. I have to lift this up again. Come on. I guess you're okay. Okay. So if I'm going to fold this card closed, okay, I can see it's in the fold line there, and it's going to close. This card is off a little bit. Okay. So. Okay.
This is a more fun card.
Oh, hello, Regina. I see you.
I timed
All right.
out.
Oh, okay. All right. So, everybody got this glued down? No, okay. I'm going to give you some more time. So this is the tricky part is lining it up. This card just does not want to fold properly for me. So, there. Okay. All right. Has everybody been able to get to this part? Everybody's good? Can I go on to the next piece? Okay. Now, we have this little part, this flat part on the left. We need to glue this down now. So I'm going to glue that down onto that, onto the orange. So when I close the card again, now it's going to get a little tight because it's not going to give very much. This card just doesn't like me. Okay. So as you glue this down, it's going to get a little tight when you close it. Okay? Because I do not want to leave this white exposed, that is why you have an extra piece of orange. This is going to fit just on top and hide that piece of Very Vanilla. Okay, so you're going to glue that down just to hide that Very Vanilla on the left side. And I'm going to bring it right up to the edge. So when you have the two colors together, they kind of just blend in. So now it's hiding that white. Okay, I'm going to close the card again. And it's starting to get thicker here where the fold is. Okay. All right. We're good. I see Dawn is ready. I have the piece of window sheet that's cut. I need now remember, we did not glue in between the circle. So what's going to happen is this piece of window sheet is just going to tuck in. But what I need to do is make sure that this window piece gets glued down. So I need some form of either a glue dot, which I don't seem to have here, or some glue. So I'm just going to add some glue to the bottom of this. And I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm just holding it up. I'm going to get my pokey tool. This is like a operation. I'm going to split open this little part, and I'm going to tuck it in because I've got glue on here now. Okay, and I'm just going to tuck it in till it goes straight down, and then I'm going to squeeze it. So now I got a piece of window sheet that's sticking up. Okay. Now I got my two mouses, and I'm going to put one on one side of the window sheet, and I'm going to put the other one on the other side. So I have the mousse. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on. So I've glued the shadow part. I'm putting it on the window sheet. So there's a little bit of glue on the window sheet and the mousse. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the white piece. And this is the tricky part. Got to hold the little mousse up. Mooses. And put it right on top. So that one side has the mousse and one side is the back of him. Okay. So now I got my mousse standing up. And I'm going to add the trees in here. I got this thing for this trees now. So I'm going to put a tree here. And I'm going to use the little tree. So if you have a problem, oh, somebody's waving to me. Maria?
Tinka, does this become like a shadow or is it just perfect flush?
It's perfect flush because you want to hide the other side of the mousse, because if you don't, you'll see
Okay.
part of the glue and stuff. So you want it perfectly flush. So one side.
Okay.
is
Thank
flush
you.
with the other one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So while you're doing that, I'm going to add some trees. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. I think I'm going to have to make a card with just these trees. Whew. That's going to look awesome. They're great. So when I'm going to do is when I have my mousse flying in the air there, I'm going to close up the card again. Like I said, it's going to be a little harder to close because one, it's thicker, and two, the paper is not moving on the other side. So you kind of have to manipulate it a little bit to bend. There. Now you could do this exact same thing and use, there is the daisy punch and the daisy flower. You could do the exact same thing with that on this window sheet. This looks really nice with the daisies. There. And that card is finished also. Woo. So hopefully your mousse will pop up. Did it work for everybody? I hope so. Okay. So hopefully you are able to follow along and not get too lost or too frustrated with the steps of the card. Whoops. Oh my gosh. Whew. There we go. Holy cow. Holy moose. So there's that one. That pop-up card. There is, I have no idea what these are called. And the pocket card one. There you go. Oop. The pocket card. Now, there is a class in November that, is it October or November, where we're going to be using the moose again to make six cards. So if you have this set, that's great. So, let's see. Whoop. Getting all crooked here. There. So there are the cards for that. Now, I'm going to be writing out the instructions for these and the dimensions. So I'm going to unmute everybody. So you can all chat away. Hold on. Unmute me. Unmute all. Okay. Everybody
That-
is unmuted.